Hi, come and take a kneeling position onto your mat, just setting the knees about a hip width apart. If your knees are painful, you could also do this standing. So I want you from here to make little fists of each hand and then curl the fists in to create some tension both in your hands, your wrists and your arms. And then hold the arms slightly away from you. From here, I want you to pull the shoulders up and keep drawing them up and keep drawing them up and keep drawing them up until you really absolutely have exhausted any ability to pull them any further upward. From here, I want you to take the head of each arm bone and pull it forward as if your shoulders could come to meet. Hold here. They should feel like quite a bit of tension now in the top of the shoulders, the front of the shoulders, the arms long and straight, your fists really curling in. Now I want you to keep the shoulders trying to meet each other, but bring them all the way down until there's really no more down to be had. And now start to draw them back behind you. Can you feel your shoulder blades come to meet until you feel those inner edges really pinching together? Now, can you keep the pinch together and draw the shoulders up? How far up can you go if you keep pinching them together? Hold the tension. Now pull them all the way forward. See if you can really pull into it, pull into it, pull into it. When there's no more forward to be had, start to slide them down. Draw them back behind you and again, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Oh, it's a lot of work. And then keep the squeeze together and pull them up. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then draw them forward. There's only one more this way. Let them come all the way down, all the way down, all the way down till you're convinced there's no more down. Draw them back, squeeze them in. See if you can find the inner edge of each shoulder blade, pull them in tight together, and then draw them all the way up. Now, when you can't give me any more up, I want you to keep them pinched together and slide them all the way down. Don't let them go. Keep them super glued to each other. Now start to pull forward. Go forward and forward and forward and forward and forward till there's no more forward. Quick check in. Fists still clenched, arms still stiff. Now pull the shoulders all the way up. When there's no more up to be had, go back, squeeze the inner edges together, pull them down. Maybe you already feel a little bit of heat there as we pull the circulation in. Now draw them all the way forward. Keep pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in, pulling in. When there's really no more to be had, draw them all the way up. It's like a workout in and of itself. And then start to draw the shoulder blades together, together, together. Draw them all the way down. This is the last one, I promise. Pull them all the way forward. No more forward to be had. Bring them all the way up. And with relief, completely let them go and shake out your arms. All right, from here we're going to come on to all fours. Just before we do, take a seat and then take your hands, place them on the front of your thighs. And from here, I want you just to bend both elbows a little. And you see how you have this crease on the inside of the elbow and then the wrinkly elephant skin on the outside of the elbow. So when we come on to all fours, I'm going to be referencing the crease of your elbow. I just want you to be really clear about that. And then come on to all fours for me. Spread the fingers and thumbs out wide. So you want to give your fingers and thumbs a similar amount of space. Now, if you look at your elbow creases, I want you just to notice the direction they're looking in at the moment. Before we do anything else, can you draw your shoulders to your ears? It's not going to be as intense as last time, I promise. And then slide them down your back. Now I want you to rotate the elbow creases to face forward over your fingers and then to face in towards each other. Rotate them forward, rotate them in. Now, here's the thing. you could be just spinning the two arms that make up your forearms, the two arm bones that make up your forearms. Maybe you do have two arms that make up your forearm bones. What I really want you to look for is the motion in this bone, because you want to know if your shoulder joint has the ability to rotate this upper arm bone to move your elbow crease, rather than you just doing it at the wrist or just doing it at the elbow and creating over time a very stuck shoulder. So here's how we're going to test what's going on. Take a seat back in any way that is comfortable for you right now. Bring one arm out in front of you and pull the back of the hand towards you. Just place the other hand so you're blocking your fingers, or if you have a handy wall, you can just place your hand right against it. Now, can you do the same thing? Look at your elbow crease, turn it so it's looking inward or toward the other arm, and then turn it so it's looking at the ceiling. Turn it in, turn it out, turn it in, turn it out. So when you're pretty sure you have that, you see how you can rotate, but your hand is staying still. Now take the other hand away or move away from the wall if you've been using that, and go back to spinning your arm bone and see if you can do it without doing this. Okay, lovely though it is to have you waving at the screen, your hand should be able to stay completely still if you can control the motion from your shoulder. And I can tell you, it took me probably around 15, 16 months, I guess, to free up my shoulders enough to the point that I could do this. So Rome wasn't built in a day, but you really want your shoulder joint to move this freely. Let's see how the other side is going. So block your fingers and then create the inward and outward rotation so you can see the elbow crease, looking towards the other arm and then looking toward the ceiling. And then take your hand away and see what you can get. Does that arm bone, does that shoulder move freely without your hand joining in? You can see that this shoulder that's had a couple more injuries in its life is not quite as well behaved as the left one. Okay, so this is important because your shoulders need to be able to move in all directions, much like your hip joint can. But also when you're weight bearing on your hands and you want your shoulders to support you, you need to make sure this arm bone sits well in that shoulder joint. So come forward onto all fours. And the first thing I want you to do is glide your shoulder blades down your back and then rotate your elbow creases to face forward. Now let your head completely hang, and sometimes this is the hardest part, to let the crown of the head hang toward the floor. Then without bending your elbows or changing their orientation, let your chest drop down between two straight arms until you feel your shoulder blades moving towards each other, however, not the top of the shoulders moving to your ears. Now can you draw your chest back up until you feel your shoulder blades move away from each other. So I want you to continue with this. Let them draw down towards each other and then let them pull back up. So things to look for is when you come down, you really want to feel the head hang, the neck hang, so that the weight of the head is helping you. But as you come back up, avoid doing this, of pushing and rounding into your back. Nothing in the lower part of the rib cage should need to join in. So it's always worth doing this in front of a mirror. And notice if you're doing a lot of this motion in with the lower part of the rib cage, and see if you can take that out. So we get really into these, what tend to be very overworked muscles between the shoulder blades. And overworked not necessarily in a good way, in a way where they're just in the same position for hours and hours. Now let that release. Look at your left hand and place your left wrist right, so your left elbow right where your left wrist was. Take your right hand, put it on top of your left hand and slide it ahead of you. Now turn the right hand over so the palm is looking up to the ceiling. Turn it back down so the palm is down. You see how you can get all of the surface of your hand flat on the floor. Now when you flip it the other way so that you're on the back of your hand, do you notice how a lot of the thumb side of your hand is not on the floor? Whatever you have right now, don't let that change as you try to straighten your right elbow. If more has started to come off the floor, then don't go any further. The next part would be to try and sit back. And it's not that you're going to sit on your heels. That's not what I'm looking for. We're just trying to put a longer and longer tensional pull through the soft tissue from your shoulder all the way down to your hand. And if you suffer with thumb pain, this is really important because that's the last victim in the train of muscles and soft tissue from your shoulder to your thumb. Now let that release, come down onto your right elbow, put your left hand on top, slide it ahead of you, turn it over so you're on the back of the hand, and then same thing, notice how much of the thumb side of your hand is not on the floor. Try to straighten the elbow without disturbing it. If you're going any further, you're thinking of your left bum cheek going back to your left heel, until you really create that long traction all the way from the hand to the hip. And then hanging out here for a couple of breaths. And if you can feel yourself shaking, that's great. You're really getting into some underused parts of the tissue. Now come back out of that and come up onto all fours. So draw the shoulder blades down, rotate the elbow creases to face forward, and broaden out through your shoulders. From here, I want you to bend your elbows just a little, let's say half an inch or so. Now look, are your elbow creases facing forward and is the wrinkly skin of your elbow facing back to your knees? Can you squeeze your elbows in as if you're holding a parcel? Now go down another 2 inches. Squeeze your elbows in. Check, are your shoulders round your ears? Can you slide them down your back? Can you go down another 2 inches? Squeeze the elbows in and now check. Have you started to sit back towards your heels? Don't do that. Come back over your knees. Now take your time, press through your fingertips and straighten the arms all the way up. So we go again. Elbows bend small to start with. Squeeze the elbows in, draw your shoulders down. Go down another couple of inches, squeeze in, don't let your bum go back or your ribs drop. If there's any more to be had, go down another couple of inches. Now from here, press through the hands, keep the elbows towards each other and straighten back up. 2 more times. So it kind of looks like a push-up, but not really because all we're doing is playing in the shoulders. Elbows bend, squeeze them in, shoulder blades down, neck long. Go a little bit deeper, no bum goes backwards, no ribs sink to the floor. Go a little bit deeper, squeeze in. Now press through every single finger as you come back up to the top. When you come all the way up to the top, pause there. Take a moment to sit back into rest position. And then from here, come back onto your heels and interlace your fingers. And if you can't come back on your heels, it's fine. Sit however works for you. From here, I want you to soften your elbows and start to reach your arms away from you, broadening and widening your collarbones. And again, check for me that this isn't coming with a hunch of your shoulders towards your ears. Then fold forward. Relax your head down. If you have a pillow, put it there. And then let the arms continue to lift. Soften, bend your elbows. And then instead of letting the front ribs hang to the floor, pull them up for me. Take a couple of breaths in and up. Now try to keep the arms here as you lift your spine back and up to the top. Then let your arms release completely and come forward onto your stomach. Now when you come forward onto your front, I want you to place your hands underneath the head of your shoulders. Draw your elbows in and draw your shoulders down. Hover the tip of your nose just above the mat. From here, draw the tailbone down and under. Lightly press the top of the feet in the floor. Hands come off the mat. Inhale as you bring your head up, neck up, chest up. Place your hands on the floor and come up just a teeny tiny bit more. Draw the tailbone down and under, and now draw the shoulder blades down. Float your hands off the floor. Stay here, couple of breaths in and out, and release back down. So no hands to begin with. Inhale your way up, drawing the shoulders down, asking the spine between the shoulder blades to back bend. The hands go down, come up a little bit more. Light press of the feet, a lengthen of the tailbone. Hands come off as you hold your position, and with control, come down. One last one. No hands. Inhale your way up. Hands go down. Press up a little more. Shoulders down and broad. Feet light. Hands float off. And with control, come down. Take your hands and push yourself back into rest position. And then take this last opportunity to turn the palms of the hands to the ceiling, the thumbs towards the floor, straightening out your elbows. And then slowly wend your way back up. And thank you for joining me in Super Supple Shoulders. Hi, I hope you enjoyed working out with me. If you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button just below and comment in the comments section to let me know what you enjoyed about it. I read all of the comments and I do my best to reply. If you really enjoyed working out with me, click the subscribe button. That way you'll be notified every single time I post new content up on here. I look forward to working out with you again soon.